All right, I'm so glad that you reached out with your questions on the homework check. So let's just look at some of the feedback stuff. So this first question is asking, what conditions allow a star to start fusing helium? Well, let's remember what we know about helium. It's not the most massive element, right? It starts from the fusion of hydrogen into helium. So let's think about if it's these two combining into helium through fusion, what is the mass going to be like? So you have two choices there, high mass, low mass. Then, if the mass is changing in that way, what will the force of gravity be like because of that change in mass? Okay? And then the third part is what's going to happen to the core of the star, the middle, if gravity is having that change. Will the star's middle grow in size due to that change in gravity, or shrink in size due to that change in gravity? And if you're still not sure, this is where you want to be looking. So it's got a section in here in this paragraph going through talking about, in order for helium fusion to occur, what do we see happening with mass, gravity, and the core of the star? So you should be able to find all that information right here. And like these questions, that's kind of what we just went over up top. So that's the first question. Second question is, I highlighted some of this stuff about Wien's law. So Wien's law is telling us that different colored objects reflect a certain temperature. So here, reddish objects compared to white and blue objects. When we look at these answer boxes here, the choices are, I think, warm or cool, or it's like hot or cold or something like that. So again, reading through, what does that mean about their temperature based on their light? And finally, the second part, spectral lines help us determine what about a star. So we practiced this with the fingerprinting lab a couple weeks ago. What were we using those fingerprints for to tell us about a star? And again, looking at the paragraph, all that information is highlighted in there, ready to go. Last but not least, this question here is talking about these two visuals. So my feedback was, look carefully at the two spectra, and the bottom one, we want to figure out which side it's moved towards, right? So our choices here are the red or the blue side. So the directions say this top one is the original, and this is the current. So which side do we see these spectral lines shifting to? Is it the red side or the blue side? And what does that mean for the motion of the star? Is that going to be a towards the Earth situation or away from the Earth situation? And you have, I don't know where that came from, you have this picture in your notes that we labeled up in class, and you can see the diagram giving you clues about red compared to blue and motion of the star for each of those scenarios. So you have all the information right here in the feedback. Maybe get out a pencil and kind of focus on your answers, and then try that second attempt.